We're going to call to order the Town of Kensington Tuesday, February 13th Town Council meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. Change my agenda here. So first item on the agenda is a moment of silence. Is there anyone that we would like to lift up this evening? Okay, not seeing any hands. All right, so if we can just bow our heads for a moment. Okay, thank you very much. Council, you received the minutes for the closed session as well as the public session for January 10th. I believe there was only one correction to the public session. Anne, you sent that in. So there aren't any other corrections. If we can get a motion on the closed session.
I'll move that we adopt the town council minutes from the closed session of January 10th, 2024.
Is there a second? Thank you, Darren. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. If I can get a motion to approve the public session on the January 10th.
I'll move to adopt or to approve the minutes from the public session of the town council meeting of January 10th.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Okay, thank you, Anne. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we'll move down to the mayor and town council. Connor, you had a big announcement earlier this week, last week, excuse me, regarding a new business that's coming into town. You want to give us an update?
Yes, very excited to announce that Compass Atelier, which had been housed within the Artist and Maker Studio up in Rockville, will be coming and taking over the entirety of the 10335 building on Kensington Parkway. This is the building to the immediate left of the post office in front of the Kelly Dentistry building. It will come to town to be known as the Compass Arts Center. They expect to move in and begin their programming around April 1st of this year. With that, they will have 2 art galleries. They will have about approximately 20 private artist studios and upwards of 4 art classrooms where they will teach artists an arrangement of artists at all levels. But it really cements Kensington as an arts district and bringing arts into the town. Glenn, who's the director of the Compass Atelier, is well known within Kensington and the Montgomery Arts Association, who runs the Labor Day Art Festival and had been looking for the last couple of years for a way to come to Kensington. And we are very, very excited that they have they're going to join us at the 10335 building.
Also, any questions or comments?
It's really exciting, and I think there's a lot of interest already. I'm curious what you know about the timing.
What do you mean?
When they open it?
April 1st.
April, that soon. Okay.
Yes. And they have put this out on their social medias. It's on the Compass Atelier website. So last I did have a chance to talk to Glenn last week. He was very optimistic that everything should be right on schedule. And then what's really great, the art community is very tight-knit. So he's already been in contact with a number of the local artists in town. Sorry, I have a little person here. As well as our galleries, and has big ideas for ways to help and work on walking gallery tours and other art related activities and events for the town.
Well, I really want to thank Connor, who had kind of put this together a couple of years ago in the hopes that we could, bring this group into town. It didn't work out at the time. We've had different people looking at using the building in different ways, and it didn't work out. And I think the owner was thinking about, well, I'm just gonna, maybe try to sell the building or something like that, unless I can get a full-time tenant. And Connor circled back around and reached back out to Compass Atelier, and they were interested. And the owner of the building this time was interested, and they were able to put the deal together. So thank you, Connor, for doing that, because it really is going to be a great addition to the town. I sent the article to my daughter, who is she's an artist, not that's not what she does for a living, but she said, "How come Kensington couldn't be this cool when I lived here?" And I just thought, well,
I hope you told her, because I'm the mayor now.
Well, I did mention that, but no, it's, you guys weren't here 40 some years ago when my kids were growing up. And let me tell you, Kensington has changed a lot, and really for the better. And I appreciate that you made this extra effort to reach out to them, and they were able to strike a deal. And I think you said the lease is at least for 10 years. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what was expressed to me by both sides, that they were looking at a 10-year lease, and obviously with the idea that success will breed, even longer.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's great news. So does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Okay, I'm not seeing anything. Well, thank you very much. Okay, well,
thank you, Connor. It's awesome news. Kudos.
Okay, well, let's go and just go through the council and give a little reports. Nate, you want to start?
Sure. Just a couple of dates to flag to everybody for upcoming meetings. We have, well, Darren, I'll let you describe the MTC meeting coming up, Mobility and Traffic Committee meeting. We have a pedestrian bicycling access and safety working group meeting coming up on February 28th. Sustainable Kensington and I will be leading a meeting on March 6th. And the other thing I wanted to flag was our Urban Land Institute Technical Assistant Panel report on the Summit Avenue extension, which we engaged with them and the community on back in July now. We finally been able to complete the report with them, and it will officially be uploaded on their website. I didn't have a chance to check today if it was up there yet, but it is final, and they shared it with us. And I was going to suggest, Tracy, that we draft a journal article for an upcoming journal, and I can do it in combination with our bicycling pedestrian priority area plan when that is final, which should be in the next couple of weeks. So I can do a kind of twofer.
I was just going to say, are we allowed to put that report on our website, or do we have to link to ULI?
I think we're allowed to put on the website, but I'll double check. Connor, do you know? Do you remember?
I don't recall directly. I'm with you, Nate. I believe that they said we could, but let's just double check. If it's a link back to them, that's not a terrible thing. But obviously, we'd like to have it for our website as well.
Okay, well, we'd want to get that straightened out so that we could put a link into the journal article to get you to the report.
Yeah, we'll make sure it goes to the right place. That's it for me. Thanks.
Okay. Anne?
Thanks. Just want to share an update from the Greenscape Committee meeting last week. The minutes will be finalized and up soon, but some highlights are that the group is moving forward with continuing Weed Warriors. Catherine Wood has identified multiple dates and is publicizing those to keep the work going along Silver Creek. We're also grateful to Allison Oppenheim, who's been doing work in the rain garden that some of you may or may not know exists near Ernest Memorial Park and Armory in Connecticut. And then in terms of new initiatives, we're hoping to do some work this spring to both encourage and potentially help residents plant trees on property. A native plant sale is also planned for the spring, and we're exploring how the town could support installing more pollinator gardens around the community. So stay tuned for an update on those initiatives. And then also, since we talked about this last time, wanted to share that on the budget forum, Matt, I don't know if you were going to put this in your update, but we are still planning to do it. We're just working on the dates for that. So stay tuned.
That's great. I actually did walk over to the rain garden that is in the field next to Allison's house. I had never walked back there, and I did report a dead Leland that was actually leaning into one of the other Lelands. So I think Alex, you had contacted Mulherron about that. So thank you. But yeah, it's great back there. And it does the hollies that were planted hopefully will fill in quickly.
Yeah, I think so. And we're going to look to add some more signage there as well, since the one that was installed, oh, I don't know, it's been over 15 years now, is hard to read.
Okay, great. Darren?
Aside from noting that we have a traffic committee scheduled for February 21st at 7 p.m. I don't have much to add. The traffic committee meeting will just go over some kind of old business. We've been monitoring the pedestrian improvements from along Connecticut Avenue from Washington to Knowles, and so that'll be, we'll get an update on that. We'll do some speed humps and then see what else comes up.
Okay. Connor, do you have anything else you wanted to add to your report?
No, just one was piggybacking off of Nate on the ULI TAP. It also happens to dovetail in with the Montgomery County Council's CIP budget season. They are going to be doing their hearings here later in February. And so he and I, and obviously yourself, will be reaching out to some of the members of the county council to talk to them about the Summit Avenue extension project that is within the CIP, as history would have it that project has repeatedly been pushed out in the CIP by the county executive. We've been grateful that our county council members have worked to keep it within the CIP, but we are trying to advocate that it actually be prioritized within the CIP. So we'll have some quick Zoom meetings with different members of the county council over the next week and a half.
Yes, and thank you both to Nate and Connor for putting together the executive summary, which is really helpful. And that actually should be attached to the ULI report that we put online. I think it's very helpful if you don't want to sit there and read all 38, 40 pages. So think about doing that. And thank you for the Connor put together a PowerPoint, which I think is really helpful too. Nate, do you have something? I can't hear you.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute. I was going to say the credit goes mostly to Connor for both of those, but it wasn't a PowerPoint. It was something else. What was the software you were using?
Oh,
it was Canva.
Canva.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it will revolutionize your life as far as presenting information.
Yeah, well, it did for me. So
it was actually a little scary. I was sitting with Connor last Friday, and the artificial intelligence that he showed me was really kind of spooky and scary at the same time.
For those of you who didn't know, several of the images of the vision, like the things in the future, those are all generated with AI.
Yeah.
So.
Pretty cool. Okay. Does anybody in the audience have any questions or comments regarding the council reports? Okay, I'm not seeing any hands. Council, I don't really have a report, but I do want to bring some dates forward just as reminders. February 15th is the MML chapter meeting at the county council office. Do you know who's going? Can I get didn't know whether we could carpool if anybody's going.
I'll be there.
I'm unable to go.
Okay, so Nate and Anne, looks like just the three of us.
Yeah, I think I should be able to go.
Okay, well, we can take separate cars. It's fine with me, but if happy to drive or be driven, doesn't matter. So okay, I believe it's at 6:30, and it's easiest to park at the county council building and then just walk across the street and go to the lobby. Okay. Also, I want to remind the deadline for the next journal, which will be the April issue, is March 15th. And the town will be sending out a postcard, for the March 18th. Kensington Historical Society has set up a meeting for Warner Circle. They'll have Friends of Warner Circle there and KHS, and they'll have Carl Vogelmeyer, who's the developer, putting together the condominium that we'll start seeing some action this spring. First thing is the remediation of lead and any asbestos. So that will be the first thing. But hopefully they'll have all their permits and we'll see some real action. So this is kind of just a meeting to invite the community to ask questions and to learn some more information on the project. Okay, I think that's all I've got. Oh, the archives, we did finally get the archives completed as far as, painting, ceiling and flooring and everything. So Lisa has started to move the items back into the archives. If you're over at Town Hall, be sure to just peek in. She's usually in the office Monday through Thursday, and she'd be delighted to give you the 30-second tour because it's not a very big room, but things are starting to move along. And we hope to have a, kind of a grand opening at some point when she's ready. All right, so let's go down to the town manager and staff.
Mayor, everything I have this evening is within ordinances and resolutions.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get started on ordinances and resolutions.
Sure. Council, before you this evening is an introduction to ordinance number O-01-2024, which is an introduction of an ordinance of the mayor and council of the town of Kensington authorizing the acquisition of certain property located at 10528 St. Paul Street, Kensington, Maryland, for a public purpose. This is the property that currently is leased to ServPro. The town had a appraisal done of the property last year. Our town attorney is currently working with the attorney for the property owner on a purchase agreement, and staff is requesting that the council set a public hearing date for Wednesday, March 20th, 2024 at 7:00 p.m.
Council, any questions about the ordinance? Okay, audience, any questions about the ordinance? Okay, I don't see any hands, so could I get a motion?
We're making a motion to
Yep.
set a public hearing, right?
Correct.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to set a public hearing for ordinance O-01-2024 for March 20th, 2024 at 7 p.m.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, number 2.
Sure. Thank you, council. And staff will send out a postcard to all town residents notifying them of the public hearing in March. So next on the agenda is resolution number R-02-2024, a resolution of the mayor and council of the town of Kensington authorizing a contract agreement with Brutus and Associates Incorporated to provide engineering and support services for a storm drain study within the area of the 10700 and 10800 blocks of St. Paul Street. We have been working on a storm drain project in this area for quite some time, trying to figure out how we can mitigate some of the issues in the 2-block radius. At the same time, looking at making an improvement at the intersection of St. Paul and McComas. We determined that we were going to need a little more engineering than we thought. So we had Brutus and Associates provide us with a proposal. This is for a full engineering, which would allow us to place inlets along the 2-block radius and tap into an existing 60-inch storm drain that runs through a number of the properties, including the vacant property at 10800 St. Paul Street and down to Farragut Avenue, where the outfall is located adjacent to Silver Creek. This is a proposal. If approved this evening, we should have the main engineering in about 60 days from Brutus. And then we'll be able to proceed with improvements.
Council, do you have any questions for Matt?
I have a couple, if that's okay, I'll go. Yeah,
okay.
so thanks, Matt. I just had a few very quick clarifications and one suggestion. I support this, but I just wanted to clarify two things. It's not clear. I mean, it mentions in the overview, the project goals and understanding, that the town wants to consider a micro bioretention pond, which was the nature-based solution we were talking about before. But it sounds, it's not clear to me that it's actually going to be considered in the design. Can you confirm that they will consider that in the study?
Yeah.
And just to note, I think they say that we own that vacant lot right now, but I believe that's not the case, right?
Correct. There is an error in the report. In the first half of the report, it states that we own 10800, and later in the report, it states that we're trying to acquire it. So, I mean, it's just a proposal. It's not. We'll clarify that with the engineer.
Sure.
But we do not own 10800 St. Paul. For public record, we are looking to acquire that property. We have spoken to the property owner, but we do not own 10800 St. Paul. And to the first question, we originally believed that we were looking at a retention pond at that location. Arun and the Brutus engineers are still going to continue to look at that based on their preliminary water models. They think that a pond may not be necessary. They think that we could get away with some yard and field inlets. They'll figure that out within the study and the hydro engineering. But after the preliminary review, they were thinking that we could move towards inlets to connect it into the existing storm drain. So short answer, I don't know yet. They're gonna figure it out. So
no, that helps. But to help them figure that out, and this relates to my second question, and I'll pass along to others. I would request or suggest that they consider beyond the 10-year storm, maybe a 50-year event, or even, I mean, a lot is being designed to the 100-year event now, which I think may then necessitate having this bioretention pond. If it's considering only a 10-year storm, of course, I can understand that a lot of the existing gray infrastructure could probably handle it, but I don't think it would be too much to have them run several scenarios. So if you can get that into the proposal, I think it would benefit the town and it may actually ultimately affect the recommended design for the solution.
Yeah, we'll pass that along to Arun and see if he can run the models at maybe a 50-year storm, and kind of figure out what they're thinking on the modeling. So, yeah.
And would it materially change the design? Yeah. Thanks. That's it. Thank you.
Any other questions from the council? Any questions from the audience on this resolution? Joe?
Yeah, I was wondering why the procedure is being waived, the advertising procedure is being waived in this case.
So we've used Brutus for a number of projects for hydro engineering. They know the town pretty well. I'm asking the council to waive the bid procedure because the amount is more than 30,000. It is up to the council's discretion. But as council knows, Brutus and Associates is pretty familiar with the town. They've done a number of studies already, and it's a request of the town staff.
And their studies elsewhere in town have included the bridges, the 3 bridges on the south side of town on Kensington Parkway, is that right?
Correct. It's a separate division, but the same engineering firm, yes.
And haven't they been fairly slow in getting that together? I mean, this project has been discussed for many months, and I have seen no action or no movement at all on that.
They're moving along on this project as required. We only recently asked for the engineering study when we came to the realization that we were going to have an issue connecting the storm drains. We needed to make sure that we didn't make any huge mistakes downstream. And we didn't want to proceed with a project this size without verifying some of the engineering on the hydro side.
So it's not that you've been dissatisfied with Brutus's work so far. I'm not hearing that at all. Is that right?
I'm very happy with Brutus, Joe.
Can we make a motion? Someone make a motion, please? For number 2?
I'll move to adopt resolution R-02-2024.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Number 3?
Thank you, Council. Resolution number R-03-2024. We are requesting to move to the next council meeting in March. Brutus was doing a very similar proposal for storm drain analysis of Farragut Avenue between Lexington and St. Paul. The proposal is not yet complete. There is an issue on the street, specifically with the main line with Washington Gas. We just need to get some verification on them. A portion of the line will need to be moved. So the proposal was not complete yet until we get some feedback from WGL pertaining to that. So we will have this before the council at March 20th meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay,
Resolution number R-04-2024 is a resolution of the Kensington Town Council confirming appointments made by the mayor to the Town Ethics Commission. This appointment is specifically to Mike McCurry. Mike McCurry is currently on the Ethics Commission. He fulfilled the rest of Mr. Gaffey's term when he passed away last year. And council and the mayor is recommending that Mr. McCurry continue for another 2-year term.
Council, any questions? Any questions from the audience? Okay, can I get a motion on number 4?
I move that we adopt resolution number R-4-2024, appointing Mike McCurry to the Town Ethics Commission.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, that was Connor or Darren. I don't, which one you want?
Give it to Darren.
Okay, Darren. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Number 5?
Thank you, Council. Resolution number R-05-2024 is a resolution of the Mayor and Town Council of Kensington authorizing the sale and donation of 10 surplus benches from Howard Avenue for $50 each, in which the proceeds will be donated to the 20895 Hunger Ministry, which is run through St. Paul United Methodist Church.
Council, do you have any questions?
Just one. Just for the clarity of everybody out there, the idea is these are park benches that are no longer being used by the town. And if people would like to purchase them to put them in their home gardens, they could do that by making this $50 contribution.
Correct.
Perfect.
And do you have a plan for how the sale would happen? Are you going to have a run on benches? Do we need to put
So
our...
we realized very quickly after this email went out yesterday that we don't have enough benches for people that want them.
That's what I thought.
Which was a little surprising because we included the picture of them and they're not in the best shape. But I think what we'll
So
do
we're going to buy 30 more, so we have
Yeah.
enough.
There's a new town fundraiser.
What about the one in the dog park?
Somebody stole that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, somebody took it. So if you get a bench, make sure you put it somewhere and tie it down. That was
An air tag on it.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
already are oversubscribed, Matt. Then can you share
Yeah,
a little
so
bit about the number?
Our plan, we only have 10 benches. And these are the benches that were removed from Howard Avenue a couple weeks ago. We installed new Victor Stanley C10 benches along Howard Avenue. Our plan is to announce in the April Around Town Journal. You'll contact the town during a certain period. And in the March meeting, we'll basically have to draw names for the benches. So, and Yeah, they are very popular.
Well, they have little doggy faces on the arms. That's why they're so cute. Anyway, Council, do you have any further questions?
I guess I think piggybacking off of Ann's, do you have a sense of like what the demand was? Was it 15, 20, 300? Like how many, what are people's odds of winning this raffle?
Based on the inquiries from our own town council and public thus far, I would say we could have 10 benches disappear immediately. So,
And we will have, they're very heavy, and obviously if you don't have a pickup truck, the crew will drop them off. There is only 10, so the crew will drop them off at the houses. But I think the fair thing to do would be to just draw names if we get, obviously more than 10. So we can, because the journal isn't even out yet. So once the journal comes out, so it'll be at the April, because the journal won't come out until after the March meeting. So, but we want to make it fair because not everybody reads the agenda. They don't, may not see it on a listserv or something like that. So the best way to get everybody to see it would be on the journal. And it would be town residents. You need to be in the town to receive one. Any other questions? Okay. Anybody, Joe?
So how do you envision this raffle proceeding? Is this going to be at a council meeting? Maybe the mayor draws the names. How does that likely to work? I know you haven't finalized it, but how are you thinking about this raffle?
Well, it's sort of in that way, but I think we'll have the more details in the March issue of the journal.
And I really didn't hear about the number of people who have shown an interest in this. So what are we talking about? I think Councilmember Crimmins was asking 10, 15, 300. What is the number, Matt?
we've received interest with about the number of benches just based off of the agenda that went out. So once we open this up in the journal, we anticipate more. So I'm guessing we'll have to do a raffle. So
I'm sorry, I didn't follow you. So we have about 10, is that what it is?
Yes.
Great.
All right, could we get a motion? For number 5?
Yes, I will move that we adopt Resolution R-05-2024 to authorize the sale and donation of 10 surplus benches from Howard Avenue to participate in a raffle for $50 each, and that the proceeds be donated to the 20895 Hunger Ministry.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, last item on the agenda is public appearances. If there's something you wish to bring up that was not on the agenda, this is your opportunity. Joe?
Yeah, thanks. Maybe I misunderstood, but I thought at the last meeting, the council agreed to move public appearances to the top of the agenda rather than keeping at the bottom of the agenda. I think this was a recommendation put forward by Council Member Nate Engel. And so I was a little surprised not to see public appearances at the top of the agenda. But I haven't listened to the tape, so my recollection might be inaccurate. But is that what the council essentially decided?
No, the council suggested it. Councilmember Engel suggested it. The mayor sets the agenda, and I left it in place because it's a short meeting.
I see. Thanks for the clarification. I just wanted to say I thought that the town crew did a fine job with snow removals last month. We had those two sort of back-to-back storms in 1 week, and both of them seemed to overperform predictions or expectations. And I thought the town crews were out there and did a fine job of keeping the streets open and clear in a very quick time.
Thank you.
Of course, every year in Kensington is an election year, so I'm just curious to know what our elected representatives, the mayor and 2 council members, Engel and Lichter have in mind in terms of their running again for their seats, or are they going to be bowing out, or have they not decided? It's only less than 4 months away.
Joe,
Yeah,
you're a month late with this question. It usually
I
comes
know,
in
I hate to
January.
say this, Joe. Yeah, you're so predictable.
No, I think it's a February question. Sometimes it's March, sometimes it's January, but it's every year is an election year, and we kind of mix it up a little bit to keep it interesting. I'm glad you guys are on your toes about this, though. But
We,
the question
Nate and
is,
I already talked about it, so.
so we've already talked about this?
No, I said, and Nate and I knew that you would probably bring this up, so we've actually already spoken to each other and are prepared to answer your question.
Fabulous.
So I personally have already declared, so, and I know Nate and Ann, let them say what they plan to do.
Okay. Do you want to go first, Ann?
Sure, I'm happy to share that I plan to run for re-election. I think the time has been flying by and we've gotten some good work started, and I'd like to continue.
Likewise, I'll do the same. It'll be a privilege to run again. Some more work to do, but yeah, it's been an honor to serve, and I'd do another 2 years if given the opportunity. So thanks for asking, Joe.
My
And
pleasure.
I'm starting to think about how to respond to Joe's question a year in advance. So stay tuned.
Oh, do you have an answer for me then?
No, I've just started the process. I will have a committee.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll be on pins and needles waiting for that decision. Thank you all.
I just wanted to add that I think we have one of the best councils that I've ever worked with. They're very engaged, extremely active in holding committee meetings and continuing to, keep those groups going. So I think the town is very fortunate for the council that we currently have. And I certainly hope to see that Nate and Ann will be back on the seats. I don't want to put any pressure on anybody, but I think they've done a great job. I mean, everybody on the council has done a great job. I mean, it's a lot of work. If you want to make something happen, you've got to put in the time. It is tough. And, especially for people who still have small children at home or teenagers, work full-time jobs. You could literally make being on the council a full-time job. And so basically you could have two full-time jobs plus kids. So I really appreciate all the effort that all the council members put into this. And we are very fortunate to have the elected officials that we have.
I would love to add that, competitive elections at the local level would even make the council function even better, arguably. So here's hoping we have some competition.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, is there anybody else in the audience who wishes to add anything? Not seeing any hands. So, okay. Council, it is just 7:45, so you have your whole evening ahead of you. And I just need we do need to talk about next month, whether we want to be in person or not for the March meeting.
That's the 20th, correct?
Yes. Yes, we're moving it. Nate is traveling out of the country. So we will be meeting on the third Wednesday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, instead of the second Wednesday. I'm sorry that we had to move meetings around 2 months in a row, but as I said, we have an active council who have jobs that sometimes take them, make them unavailable. So if we can accommodate, I prefer to do that. Okay. Do you want to meet in person, or we'll have the hearing for the ordinance for the property in March, and then we'll have a hearing for the budget. That's not till May, right?
Public hearing for the budget would be April, so.
In April, sorry. Okay.
I mean, I think it would be nice to move to an in-person meeting? We always offer a hybrid option, correct? Even if we're in.
Yes.
Yep,
Okay.
I think in person makes sense to me. Thank you.
Okay, it should be fine. I mean, we can change it if for some reason we get that big snowstorm, on March 20th, we can always go to virtual. But let's plan on doing that in person in May. Going the wrong way, in March. Okay, all right, so March 20th in person, and it will also be, people can watch it online as well. Okay, all right, if we can get a motion to adjourn.
Move that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good night.